Hello guys, today I will be talking about one of the books in the Goosebumps series by R.L. Stine. It is called The Haunted Mask. The Haunted Mask is one of several children's horror novels written by the famous author R.L. Stine. It was first published on September 1993 by Scholastic Publishing Company, and since its release it's had two reissues, once in 2003 and the other in 2008. The book was included in the making of the television adaptation of the series and are the very first two episodes of the first season. There were 4 seasons made and a total of 74 episodes were aired, with its last airing date on November 16, 1998. It has also had 3 sequels titled The Haunted Mask 2, The Scream of the Haunted Mask, and Wanted: The Haunted Mask. Its most recent appearance would be in the 2015 film Goosebumps, directed by Rob Letterman. The story depicts the life of a girl named Carly Beth Caldwell, who is afraid of everything. She is always being bullied by her 2 schoolmates, Chuck and Steve, at school. They put a live worm in her sandwich, and she took a giant bite of it. Everyone laughed at her, and she ran crying all the way home. Carly Beth finds out that her mother has made a realistic plaster of Paris of her face and that she made a duck costume for her. She gets on the phone with her best friend Sabrina, and Carly Beth jokes about buying a scary mask from the new antique store that just opened up. The next day at school, the boys pull another prank on Carly Beth and fake a tarantula bite. Carly Beth gets so upset that she goes home and uses her money to go to the antique store to buy the mask. The store is closed by the time she gets there, but the store manager lets her look around for a few minutes. When Carly Beth finds the perfect mask, the store manager says she can't take that one because it's not safe. Carly Beth grabs the mask and steals it. When Carly Beth goes home, she tries on the mask and scares her brother Noah. Noah is so scared that he tells Carly Beth to take off the mask. But when Carly tries to take it off, she struggles and freaks out. Luckily, it comes off and she shakes away the unpleasant feelings. She puts on the rest of her costume and heads out to meet up with Sabrina. As the night progresses, Carly Beth's character starts becoming more and more aggressive. At one point, she even chokes Sabrina and says that she was trying to stay in character. Carly ends up running away to go find Chuck and Steve, and she finds them in a cemetery. After scaring them away, Sabrina finds Carly Beth, and they both head to Sabrina's house. When Carly Beth tries to take off the mask for the second time, it does not come off at all. Sabrina tries to help her, but she notices that the mask has no end. The mask had fused together with Carly Beth's face and was now permanent. Antique store and confronts the manager about it. She begs him to help her get it off, but he refuses. He tells her that there's nothing she can do besides accept her new face. Carly Beth makes such a fuss that the store manager reveals to her that there might be one way to help get the mask off. He reveals to her that the masks were once really beautiful faces, but that they were corrupted. He thought that by changing his face he would finally be happy, but his unhappiness came from within himself. So the only way for the mask to come off would be with the symbol of love. Carly Beth was in the middle of asking him what that meant when the rest of the mask began to awaken from all the commotion she had made. She runs out of the store and heads to her plaster of Paris face her mother made her. She defeats the horrific mask, and after realizing that she loves the way she used to be, she is able to take off the mask. She heads home and everything goes back to normal until her brother puts on the mask and the story ends. This story, although scary, is still a part of children's literature and is used in classrooms all over the US. Although the story does not begin with the classic fairy tale opening of Once Upon a Time, it does encompass some of the major themes that other fairy tales have. In the story, Carly Beth does not have both of her parents, only her mother, but it doesn't seem like she plays a big part in Carly's life. Carly also has a little brother. This ties to one of Bettelheim's psychoanalysis themes of how family relatives can personify a children's worst nightmares. The little brother, Noah, also takes part in making Carly Beth's life a living nightmare because he scares her at any chance that he gets. He might not be an evil stepsister, but he is an evil little kid. The next example would be one of Prop's 31 narratives, specifically number 14. In this narrative, the protagonist of the story obtains a magical item of some sort. In our story, Carly Beth finds the perfect mask to scare her bullies with, but the store manager impedes her from taking it. Compared to Prop's narrative take, the hero, in this case Carly Beth, must steal the magical item, the mask, in order for her to continue her quest to defeat her evil bullies. Although the story does not entirely tell the tale of a hero's journey to its full extent, it does include some of the characteristics of it. There is also some speculation about whether or not the story can classify as a myth, and if the Oedipal complex can apply to it. Bettelheim explains in his essay that even though a myth is more gruesome than a fairy tale, they both provide the reader with common lessons and themes. One of the criteria for the Oedipal complex would be the solving of a riddle. In our story, the store manager told Carly Beth that in order for the mask to come off, she must find an object that would signify love. It was obvious that love is a very broad subject, and it could be found in almost anything, but this had to be something that made her feel love for herself. It was then that Carly Beth remembered that her mother made a plaster of Paris of her the day before Halloween. Carly Beth used this as a symbol to prove to herself that she loves the Carly she used to be, that the plaster was the real Carly Beth. There could be a couple of lessons learned from this story, some very obvious, like do not steal from stores, and others are more to heart. Carly Beth was bullied a lot by her schoolmates. One of the big lessons to take away from this story is that it's not okay to bully someone. We were witnesses to how Carly Beth ran home crying after every incident and all of the sadness she held inside. It got to the point where she couldn't take it anymore and went out to buy a mask to solve her problems. Young readers start comprehending the lessons behind stories from a young age, and by having stories like this helps teach them that bullying is not okay. Another lesson would be to love yourself no matter what. Carly Beth was bullied because she was scared of everything. That trait made her feel so bad about herself that she wanted to become someone she wasn't, someone mean. In the end, all she wanted was to be her old self again, no matter how scared she was. There are 3 published sequels to The Haunted Mask, and in the second story, it is now Steve who is in some big trouble with the mask he got from the same store Carly Beth got hers. I don't want to go too much into detail, just in case somebody wants to read the second book, but Steve was one of the bullies who now Carly Beth is no longer afraid of, so he asked her where she got the mask from, because it was all because of this mask that Carly Beth was no longer afraid. So he went and got the mask, and now he is going through the same thing that Carly Beth did, but with a different mask. And although there are no alternate versions of these stories, there was another book in the process of being made, and it was listed on Tim Jacobus's website, The Illustrator, but it was never released. It was titled The Haunted Mask Lives. Thank you for following along to this presentation, and I hope you guys take a chance and check out the book. If not, the animated series is on Netflix. Thank you.